with the beat like this, with the beat like this, beat like this.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hello everyone, calm down, yes, hello and welcome. Yes, hello everyone and welcome to the first ever audio pod on this channel, featuring me and my awesome partner in crime. We know who that is. She's entering the plane right now. Her name is the mighty Overlord Tash. There she is. She's joining me on the plane. And as you can see on the screen, there is no webcams because we are doing a audio pod, not a podcast. But if you guys want to see them in the future, then just let us know down in the comments below and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and I hope you guys enjoy. It was the Multi-Raven podcast was our first ever podcast we done, wasn't it?
Or tried to do.
Or tried to do. It was me, you, Ricky, Lorik, Kayla.
Was that the second one?
Kayla and Marcus. No, the thing is, we tried a few podcasts, didn't we? Because it first started out, I was just like, yeah, let's just do a podcast. Me, Tash, Lorik, and Ricky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then that's what we were going to do in the beginning, and then everyone else in the Multi-Raven chat was just like, oh yeah, it'd be really nice if we all started collaborating together as a team and then try to help each other create, podcasts. And that's how it started off. So we all just kind of went into a group call and we tried to start off the podcast. And I think it was Kayla who was just like, yeah, how should we start this? Should I say something first? And that sounded Irish, didn't it?
Yes.
That did not sound Texan? Is it Texans or Texan?
I don't know.
Let's just go with American. That sounded Irish, not American, but yeah. So that's how it went. And I remember the second time I done it, I asked, was it you or Marcus to start the podcast? And I wasn't here at the time because I think I was getting a haircut. And I said, when I'll be back, I'll just join the call. And then I was just surprise people out of nowhere. And I remember joining, and you turned around and you went, Ben's in the chat. And then I sat there, but no one was saying anything apart from Kayla saying, how should we start the podcast off? And I think that's the problem with a lot of people doing podcasts nowadays. They just never know what to say. Or they try and write it down and say something, and then they end up talking about something completely different. And then it's just a silent call for ages.
It's kind of like, you have to get used to it.
Yeah.
You have to. It's like I think there was like a Q&A on the Rooster Teeth website, and people were asking how to do more podcasts, and they went, start off small, off with like a couple of people, and then get used to it. So then when you bring in another person, if they're not used to it, you still have two people talking. Yeah. And the person can just jump in, and you keep doing that.
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if you start off, let's say, for instance, me and you done a podcast. So, right, let's say me and you was doing it, and then we're really good at it, and then we go on for a while, and we're like, yeah, it'd be really nice to add someone new to this podcast. For instance, we bring in Ricky for whatever reason, and then Ricky joins us in the podcast, but he doesn't really know what to say, and he feels a bit awkward. There's still going to be me and you talking, isn't it? Because we've got used to it. Yeah, so that would be really cool. I think doing podcasts are fun, but then again, like you said, some people don't like the word podcast. Some people like it talk shows, some people like it called chat shows, some people just like chats. That's like, everyone sort of has their own way of expressing it, I suppose. I mean, to be honest, for me, podcasts are like an audio thing only. And then, like, I don't know, for me, like, podcasts is audio only, but scripted, where chat shows are more like just casually chatting about random topics.
Free flow.
Yeah. And a lot of podcasts nowadays, anyway, are all not scripted, but very well guided. So they've got, like, maybe a notepad or a file open, and they'll just be like...
Unless you're Rooster Teeth, where you're fucking lucky enough to be like, yes, let's continue talking.
I suppose it just depends on, though, what happens in your life, or what's happening around you. And then that's what helps a podcast start off, or a chat show, and just gives you information. A lot of people nowadays that do podcasts, they just sit there and they're like, oh yeah, how can we start a podcast off? Oh, we can start talking about what's been happening in the news, and they'll start going on Google and they'll be like bbc.co.uk. Okay, what's happening on the news? A woman just picked up some flowers from next door neighbours. Let's talk about some woman that just stole some flowers from her next door neighbours.
What
Who's
you
going to
do
want to
is
hear that?
you have it. What was it they said in the Rooster Teeth podcast? They said if you're going to talk about the news, have it open beforehand.
Yeah.
Or at least read like basically what's happened. So say like we basically went, okay, before we start the podcast, let's go see what's happened in the news. Oh, illegal immigrants, about 85 of them tried to get into, like, what was it? They stormed Calais. Okay.
Do you know that? Sorry, that was really funny. He was just like, yeah, but like Rooster Teeth said, if you're going to do something, let's make sure you have the window open, or at least, you know somewhat information about that topic before you actually say anything. And then there's you like, yeah, I'm 85 people,
I forgot what the word was. I was literally like, what's the word?
Immigrants.
No, I forgot what stormed was.
Oh, God.
I was literally like, what the fuck is the word for a ton of people? And I went, oh, it's stormed.
Yeah, that storyline was quite confusing, actually. I mean, nowadays on the news, there's just a lot of random stuff happening.
It's normally, you learn this in media, it's basically, they have a lot of tragic things, and then they have good things, even if it's the most randomest shit.
Yeah.
It'd be like, planes gone missing, someone died, someone got killed, kittens were born.
Yeah, I've noticed that quite a lot. Not that kittens are being born and planes are going missing, but it's like that Malaysian airplane, wasn't it?
You
that
mean,
one of...
which one? The first one that went missing, the second one that went missing, or the third one that's gone missing?
So have none of them been found?
One's been found. No, one got found.
Right.
And it was like blown up.
See, I just don't get what's happened with this. Like, these planes go missing and no one knows anything about it. Now, the first time it happened, people were like, oh, okay, seriously, something, it's like just happened out of nowhere,
Happen a lot.
Yeah,
so everyone was like, okay, something's wrong, but we can probably find them. And then second one goes missing, everyone's like, what's the fuck's going on? Third one's going missing, okay, conspiracy.
Yeah, right, that's what I was thinking. But like when the first one went, I was like, well, it could have been storm, it could have been a weather, it could have been a country attacking it, it could have just been a malfunction, it could have been, something wrong with the pilots, it could have been a crash, yeah, it could have been absolutely anything. And then after the second time happened, I was like, yeah, something's not right here. Third time happening, and I'm just like, yeah, how are they not catching on, or at least trying to figure out what's happening? 3 planes have gone missing, and yet they still actually have no clue what's happening at the moment. And I think that bothers me quite a lot, because it's not just a plane with 2 people on it. I mean, these are passenger planes with like 200 plus people on it. Normal people, not terrorists, not anything. They're just either business people, their family going on holiday, maybe they're going to meet some friends, they're just living a normal life, and then out of nowhere this happens.
It's like,
I just don't generally know how these planes can go missing, yet nothing can be found, nothing can be told, no explanation is happening.
I know, like, the amount of theories, it's either, with countries, it's either North Korea, what's the country that's fighting against
We got Iraq
Russia
as well, haven't you?
Iraq. Oh man, don't talk about Iraq. The amount of shit that's happening with Iraq and like the British terrorist, as they could say it. Like 2 guys beheaded, a third one being threatened.
The people being beheaded, like what's happening with that? Because I heard that on the news earlier.
The first one, they're both journalists.
Right.
The first one was I can't remember his name, but he got beheaded, and it was a warning to America to stop the bombing.
Wasn't that videoed?
Yeah, they're all videoed and then sent. It's basically
that's just sick though, isn't it?
It's basically the first one was shown on video, and they said stop the bombing in certain areas and all that. America went, no, we'll continue bombing. Second one beheaded. They threatened again, and this time with a British citizen, I think.
Yeah.
And then I think the government believes the guy who's beheading them is British.
Right.
Because of his accent and stuff. And
oh yeah, so I heard of that as well. But what I want to know, what is our government doing about this? Because our government doesn't really seem to be stepping in at the moment.
At the moment, I believe what they said was they're trying to find out who they believe to be British citizen is.
Ah, right.
So then they can be like, I think, like, go to the family and be like, look, what's going on?
So, just to understand, the people that are beheading these people, like, are they terrorists?
They're terrorists.
Ah, right.
They're, you know, every time I say, oh, my dad keeps calling the cat ISIS a terrorist.
Yeah.
Because of the group who, ISIS says ISIS. It's basically them.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it's basically them, or it's another one. But I think it is, quotation marks, ISIS.
I just think, like, what's been happening on the news lately, there's just so much happening on the news. And I mean, last year there was just so much, like, good things happened last year, bad things happened as well, obviously, but a lot of it on the news was quite pathetic, and I felt that didn't really need to be broadcasted. But this year you've got, like, people being beheaded, you've got planes going missing, you've got jets being blown up, you've got bombings, and I know this is all general stuff, but obviously last year I don't remember any planes going missing. I certainly don't remember anyone getting beheaded either.
Last year it was mostly like, or was it this year, like cops being shot in Britain, like people who had like gun licenses just like shot at like a random police officer, and like teenagers stabbing teachers. Or was that this year? I can't remember.
It's probably been both years.
Probably.
But the stuff on the news is just, it's not right, it's just wrong. Thank you for watching the first part of our audio pod. We'll be back soon, don't go anywhere, just enjoy a little bit of music, and if you've enjoyed this so far, leave a like and a comment down below. We're coming back to the audio pod. Hope you enjoy. Perry.
Now you've got Perry 2.0.
Perry, 2 doors down the road. I say 2 doors down the road. He's not really 2 doors down the road. He's 2 houses down. But normally I couldn't sit up late around this time talking. I couldn't play music. I couldn't talk to you. I could not do anything. I could barely even watch TV because he was basically picking up what I was doing. And obviously the problem with that is because my window's open. But when obviously you have a hot day, you need your window open. And if it's hot, you need your window open. If it's cold, I normally keep my window open anyway. So in general, I keep my window open for most things. But he always picked me up when I was listening to music, I was talking to you, I was listening to TV, I was watching anything. Whatever I was doing, he was basically listening to me. So most of the time, he was just going to either come downstairs, he'd come out in his garden, and he'd stare at my window.
Or stand on the trampoline.
Or he'd stand on the trampoline, but he would still stare. He wouldn't shout all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes he would shout my name, and he'd just be like, yeah, shut the fuck up, I can fucking hear you, my kids are sleeping. And I think, you're saying that, but why are you shouting that when now they're going to probably hear you? Do you see what I mean? If I'm 2 doors further away from your children, and I'm just talking like this, or I'm watching a bit of TV, why do you think coming downstairs into your garden, standing on a trampoline, bouncing, shouting, shut the fuck up, my kids are sleeping, is actually going to make anything better. And that's what I don't understand. I mean, a few times he's come into his kid's room. You think his kid's room are at the back of the house. So he goes into their room, opens up the window, leans outside the window and stares at mine. How does he not think that's not going to wake him up either? That's the things he does to retaliate to what I'm doing doesn't make sense whatsoever. It's like that time when he came outside in the garden, started shouting and swearing his mouth off, and then decided to throw a teddy.
And then
Landed
you
in the
took it
room.
away.
Went downstairs. The point is, though, retaliating like that doesn't actually help anyone whatsoever. Doesn't help him. His kids are probably going to wake up, and it just makes me more angry. Makes me want to put on rave music just because he does that. And that's how irritating it is. And then you got people down at the end, right down at the end of the house, who don't really complain, but they get really stressed out with it. And then the new neighbours that moved in just a few months ago, they haven't actually said a single thing. And I believe that's probably because they don't speak a word of English.